All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's get started on our insurance math study guide. Number 1 states your apartment gets robbed and $1,750 worth of your belongings are gone. You have renter's insurance to cover the loss, but your deductible is $250. How much will the insurance company pay you for the loss? So that's what we're going to start with, is the actual loss. $1,750 of belongings were stolen from the house. Now, to figure out how much the insurance company is going to pay you, we're now going to have to look at the deductible, which is the amount of money you're responsible for paying or covering in this instance. So the loss of $1,750, we are actually going to subtract out the deductible because that's what we're responsible for, not the insurance company. So we're going to subtract $250 from our loss, and then we will get a remaining amount which the insurance company owes us. So that amount the insurance company owes is $1,500. Let's go ahead and move to number 2. Number 2 reads, you have insurance premiums of $350 every 6 months. So let's start with what we owe, which is $350. Now that says every 6 months. So how much will you pay annually? How many times does 6 months happen in a year? Twice. Great. So what we're going to do is multiply 350 times 2. That's every 6 months. So what if it said we paid insurance premiums quarterly? How many times would we do it then? What about monthly? How many times would we pay our premium per year then? So 350 multiplied by 2 for every 6 months lets us know that we actually pay $750 a year for insurance. Let's move on to number 3, and we're going to complete the formula to best describe the amount an insurance company will pay you for your loss. And if you'll simply take a look at what we actually did in number 1, this helps to really kind of figure out how this mathematically works. So we're going to start with the payment, or how much the insurance company pays you. And that is simply equal to how much the loss was or damage minus your deductible. Because remember, that is what you are responsible for covering or for paying. So payment is equal to loss minus the deductible. Let's go ahead to number 4, and this is a little grim to think about as we go through this problem, but this is actually how insurance companies calculate all different types of insurance, but specifically life insurance. So which of the following best represents the annual insurance premium that a company might charge for $50,000 of life insurance on a man with a 1 in 50 chance of dying in the next year? Assume the insurance company wants to make a 10% margin on the policy. So what we're going to do is we're going to start with the actual amount of life insurance that this gentleman is requesting. So $50,000 is the amount of life insurance, and we're going to multiply that number by the chance of him actually dying in the next year, which is 1 divided by 50. So if we take 50,000, multiply that by 1, and divide it by 50, we'll find that it would require a $1,000 purchase for this man to get a $50,000 life insurance policy. But remember, he doesn't only have to pay $1,000. The insurance company also wants to make a 10% margin on the policy, or a profit over what he is paying. So what we're going to do is take that $1,000 we know he has to pay, and we're going to multiply it by that 10%. So we know with the decimal place here, we're simply going to move it 2 over to make this 0.10. So 1,000 multiplied by 0.1, or 10%, gives us another $100 that they're requiring for margin. So let's add our 2 costs together. We've got the cost of the policy, which is $1,000, plus the 10% margin of $100 the insurance company wants. So when we add these 2 together, we know that it would cost this gentleman $1,100, for a $50,000 life insurance policy with a 10% margin and with a 1 in 50 chance of him dying in the next year. Let's go ahead and move on down to number 5. And we actually talked about this a little bit as we went through our buying a car, but we are talking about what we call full coverage. And remember, full coverage includes liability, collision, and comprehensive insurance. So when you have all 3 of those, that is full coverage on your vehicle. So your automobile insurance premiums of $500 for liability, $200 for collision, and $100 for comprehensive. So let's start with our $500 liability, and then we're going to add in our $200. So how much would that cost for just liability and collision? Correct. That would be $700. And let's not forget our last part of full coverage, which is comprehensive. So let's add in $100 to that for full coverage. So 500 plus 200 was 700, plus our comprehensive is actually another 100, which brings us to a total of 800 that makes our total premium.